and welcome to Eagle Springs, episode 2. I know it's been a long time, it's been 3 weeks or so, but I've managed to get another episode out, and all going well, there will be another episode out sometime in the next couple days, hopefully. I mean, it could be the next week, because I am recording this on Thursday morning. It's like 1 AM in the morning, and I'm recording this audio to try and get this video out for tomorrow, like lunchtime. So I've done a lot of progress in Eagle Springs since episode 1. I've done 2 live streams on Eagle Springs, and I have done many hours just on my own building, trying to get as much done as possible within the video. Because I want this, like I say every time, I want this video to be, well, not this video, but this series to be short. 5 to 10 episodes. And as it's looking, I think I'm going to meet that quota of somewhere between 5 and 10. I may end up like doing a special episode or something, but we'll see how it goes. So in this episode, I build quite a lot of different things. You may have seen in the cinematics at the start that I build a couple medium-sized businesses. They're lots. I do a bit of work on the downtown, which I may end up changing because I don't really like how it looks. It's like the historic downtown. Obviously I'm building this petrol station at the moment, which is the first one inside the town that you come to. I work on the train station. You don't actually see me plop that down, which is a bit annoying because I plopped it down thinking I may change it and then never did, and didn't record me doing it. So it's not there, but I did record me building part of the hotel, which is a more modern development. Because this town has a historic town centre in the middle, and then as you spread out, the stuff gets newer and newer, and it's fairly new. I'm imagining this town has had a bit more like of a influx of tourists and therefore wealth to improve some areas of the town. That is why the hotel looked quite fancy. I also, right at the end of the video, I start building the RV registration site. But episode 3 will be basically RV mad, because I'm doing a load of RV sites and stuff like that. So I'm basically just going through my assets, looking for things to plop at the back here. I noticed that in a lot of these petrol stations in Williams, Arizona, they have a lot of like what seems to be the owner's like rubbish or vehicles behind it, especially caravans. So that's why I stuck a couple caravans at the back there with an old mattress and some tires, and just to like, this is the owner's stuff that he's just stuck out at the back because he owns this place. He's using it for what he wants. So upcoming now is a couple cinematic shots just showing the finished project of this petrol station. Trying to get to show all angles of the petrol station, because it is very hard to see it when you are building it. So I'm thinking about adding these cinematic shots to a lot of the builds when I finish. So we've gotten into one of the live streams where I build what is a DMV. So I'm doing the car park sort of area. The classic way that you do car parks, with the proper asphalt and then using the car parking spots that can be used for like vehicles actually parking them. And what I did here on the edge was, because the land isn't exactly flat because of that drainage ditch next to the asphalt, I simply used Lost Gecko's retaining wall assets to not soften the drop, but it fixes it and makes it so that the top of asphalt isn't floating in the sky, basically. And on the place where the cars are going up onto the car park, I did something different. Instead of using the standard, using a pedestrian path to like fade into the car park, I used these rumple strips to just sort of add a little something there. So there is still a curb to go up, but it sort of demarks where the cars can go up. So as I've said in many videos, I did this in a stream, and it was what people have started to call the Crumbs daily talk show, although the streams are never daily. But what we tend to do is on the Discord, I've got my stream channel, and many people are come into the stream room, have a chat. A lot of creators, a lot of asset makers and mod makers and stuff like that come in, have a chat, talk about the game. We don't really tend to talk about what I'm doing in the builds, but sometimes I talk a bit about what I'm building. But most of the time, the build in the background is just for the view, and you're just there to talk about the general City Skylines things that have happened. Just a couple days after this live stream, a new mod came out called Procedural Objects. If you haven't got this mod, you need to get it. It is a game-changing mod. It allows you to, make procedural objects. And it's made by Simon Rees, one of those two. Sorry about that. And it is a game. It's just a massive game changer. We're gonna be able to do so much with this mod. He's releasing updates and fixes and just things that people sort of want to help improve the mod itself. But you can basically so the basic you get a cube and you get a flat square. And the cube, you can move all the corners independently of one another, stretch them to as big as you want or as small as you want. And with the square, you can do the same. But also, you can create assets that are procedural. So, say a staircase, you can make it so the staircase can be stretched to any length, any width, and just to fit in any sort of situation you want. So a couple asset creators have started to make some procedural build. There's been some stairs added, and there's been a procedural power line that's been added. Procedural bridge. I can't wait for even more of them to come. As I haven't really been talking about what's been going on in the video, I've basically just built an industrial lot, and now we're going to see a bit of cinematics of some of the builds that I didn't show, like me building, but you will see them in a cinematic shot. in that cinematic shot, you saw a Wonder Burger and a pancake house plus a Texan Medical Center. So there's a couple of those builds which are very similar to some of the other builds I did, so I didn't include them. Also, it would probably push this video up to 50 minutes, and it is already 34 minutes, and that is a bit long for my liking, but I'll try to squeeze as much in as possible. So, on the video right now, I'm building a sort of dried up lake bed area, and in real life I imagine that this river only flows in the winter, or like the spring, after the winter thaw from the mountain up top. All the water flows down and throws through this dry riverbed as it is now. So I put a couple of plants in there where I imagine they could have grown. Maybe some of them are a bit close. As we see the cinematic shots, you can see that I'm using a lot of grass now. I'm trying to use more grass. I'm not very good at getting it right. Someone on the Discord called Not Done Yet, he has been posting amazing screenshots of his builds. And they're not really builds, they're more scenic shots of grass, and he does so good job. That's what I'm trying to sort of emulate with these things. His amazing shots, but I'm just not up to his level with foliage detailing. So this is the downtown part. So as I said, I'm not sure about the downtown part. It's a bit meh. I'm not really happy with how it turned out. Some of the buildings are a bit off-sized. They're a bit big. And I tried to really fit a lot of detail, but with the roadside parking and stuff, and it's not turning out the way I really wanted it to, so I may go back and fix it. But at the moment, I'm only getting 4 FPS if I look directly at a big downtown area. If I zoom in, I'll get about 20. But it's looking at this big area, so I may change it. It may be tweaked. Only time will tell if it will be tweaked or not, though. And I'm experimenting with the downtown, with making parking spots that aren't real parking spots. So I found a asset on the workshop that allows you to put parking spots anywhere, and it just has these 2 curbs at the front. But after I found this, I found a proper slanted parking slot thing, and those curbs are really not great. So those are I probably will change those. And cars do float, because the way it works is it's meant to be on the surface, and since roads are slightly sunken, the cars float by the height of the curb, so it can look a bit weird. But here I am, detailing the town centre, trying to make it seem like there's been a bit of money influx lately, and they've done a bit to the town. I added the red pavement because in real life the pavement is slightly tinted red, but I think I'm going to go back and remove that red pavement and either leave it the concrete colour with maybe some expansion joints, or maybe use a different decal to show it. I will also probably remove that grey decal that I've put there. It just doesn't look right to me. I'm not sure why. If anyone has any suggestions on how I could improve this town centre, it's not very big. It's only 2 blocks big, but I'm not sure what to do. So as you can see here in the cinematics, these are the slightly oversized buildings. They're 2 stories where they probably should be 4, and they just look weird and off. But I'm imagining that this big building, the big windows are just big windows. That's what I'm imagining. So I'm going to stick with that unless I find better ones. But these are just so nice with the neon lights and such. So here in this part I'm detailing empty a semi-empty lot that I had, which had a couple buildings in it, but not any detail as of such. So I'm imagining this building is a semi-run down, like block of flats sort of thing. So I'm doing a lot of rubbish out the back, a lot of cars out the front, just parked at odd angles, a lot of cracks, just a lot of, I don't know, things you'd find in a not well upkept area, I suppose. So we skip ahead to where I'm just doing the front parking area, putting some cracks down, putting a couple vans, a couple pickups. I still need to get a big crack decal. I know I said this 3 weeks ago on the first episode of Eagle Springs, but we need a big crack to go in places to show like where the concrete has been repaired, because this happens a lot in America, I've noticed, where big cracks start to appear in the concrete and they spread across quite a large area and they tend to crack in lines. I'm not sure why that is that they crack in lines, but they do, and then they fill them in with slightly darker concrete, and it makes the cracks very visible from from any view, from a satellite view, from standing there you can see the cracks quite clearly. So here I am, moved on down the road a bit, and I'm detailing another small lot. This one I left in because I do a little alleyway, and I make this alleyway very dirty, like a lot of dustbins, a lot of rubbish everywhere. Basically, like, I'm gonna say hobo's paradise. Not really a hobo's paradise, because hobos don't like rubbish and dirt and stuff, but someone said in the live stream that I should be putting a hobo like ploppable person there, but there isn't one on the workshop. So the best thing I did was I stuck a trolley there from, like, as it is, imagine it's the hobos, the trolley that they carry around and stuff with. I didn't stick any stuff in it because there aren't really much things to fit inside a trolley. It's quite small as it is, and props don't get much smaller. So at this point I'm detailing the main like parking lot for this business. I don't really know what this business is, but I'm getting quite good at doing these parking lots with the connecting road. It looks very realistic, and I like it. I haven't really found a better way of doing it yet, but maybe there is, and maybe I just haven't seen it. So a little cinematic shot of the build where it's like the slummy flats sort of thing, and then obviously the hobo's paradise with the little alleyway. So if I believe it is the main, like one of the biggest buildings in Eagle Springs. It is a hotel right next to the train station. Now the problem with this asset was it was a bit big, like it was a bit tall. So what I did was I sunk it into the ground, and then I used ploppable pedestrian roads and moved them close into the building so that the terrain went flat. And as you see there, it's gone perfectly flat. And the building lost about 5 stories. So a lot of this is cut out because it's boring. I also didn't record it, mainly because it's boring, but I also forgot. It's basically the same thing doing car parks. So this is the main bit that I did record before I stopped recording and then never re-recorded it. So you'll see a cinematic shot now of the finished product with the train station in front. So imagine this hotel is for the people coming off the train, and they get to sleep in a nice swanky new hotel in quite nice surroundings. There's a big car park and also like a mini train exhibit out front where an old train is. So I imagine maybe the hotel has a train museum inside it. But here is the train. Made by Geometry. So as the video draws to a close, I am building the start of the RV park. This is the registration area for the RV park, and I left this in because it is slightly different to what I normally do with these car parks, because I've added spaces where RVs can park for where they register. Now, I don't build the RV park in this episode. That will come next episode. I will build 2 different RV parks to, well, cater to the town, because RVing is a big thing in America. I may also build a couple more. I'm still not really 100% on that yet, though. So, since this video is drawing to an end soon, I'm going to leave it here and leave it roll into the cinematics. So, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.